Good morning, welcome to Life of Dave. Sunday morning, we're back down the boat. See if we can get a little bit done, shall we? So, this locker is pretty much done. Don't think I've got anything else to do with that. Fit the hinges on, get that on. This one needs a little bit of build up on the bottom edge here, just to bring that out so that the hinge sits flat. And that one's done. So it's not a lot. Just where that rolls round there, just needs a tiny little build up under the front. So I'll probably put a couple of layers on the bottom there and then one layer over the lot just to smooth it out. I don't really want any build up on the front though, just to keep it flat and transition with the bit on the bottom. And I'll probably grind most of that away, or sand most of it away, because I want that hinge sitting flat on this level, just straight. This one is going to require a little bit more. It's more on the rounded section there. I ground into these last time I was down so I can get a layer of glass in there and then sand it smooth. So I don't want any build up on it. I want it level so that it doesn't hold the bottom edge of the locker door out. Any build up and that'll hold that bottom out slightly. Yeah. So that's the plan. Build up this bottom edge here. Last time I put some glass on and I rolled it round to there, and as I disappeared and come back later and it had dried, it had sagged away and it had dried straight down, so I had a big gap under the front, so it didn't work. So I need to put a bit on the front there and build that up from the underneath just around that radius, then put one bit over the whole lot to seal it in, and then I can shape it and see how we sit. I'd like to get this glassed in as well whilst I'm doing that, because obviously if I'm mixing up a bit of resin to do enough to just do those couple of hinges, it's going to be awkward. So what I'll probably do is I'll do this bit and then use what's left over to do these. I'm not going to worry about glassing under there today, because again that's going to take too long. Once I get these little bits adjusted, you know, and set up right so that the hinges sit right, these lockers are pretty much done. This is an easy bit to glass in, and the same under there, that's not going to be too much of a problem. It's just going to take more time than I've got on a Sunday morning when I've just nipped down for an hour or two. This has all been cleaned and acetoned a few times, but dust's floating around in the air. It's got to be done again just to make sure she's all clean. Got some rough bits under there. I think some resin's run under. I'll need sanding off. We'll get more resin under there when I glass this lot, so I'm not worried about yet. Don't want it dripping in there, sitting in the bottom, making a mess. If I get a bit run down the back, you know, on the inside, it's not really going to notice. I don't want to pull the resin sitting on top of the gel coat in there. Yeah. That's better. Right, so masking done, coffee's finished. Crack on with a bit of glass. Now I just want to have a quick look at this and see if I've got any little pits in it, or if I've got rid of all of them. Pretty sure I went back over all this, filling in all the pits, so it should be good. Yeah, I reckon I can glass straight onto that without any filler. What I've got to do is put a bit of filler around the insides of the ends of the locker hole, you know, so that when the front goes in, I'll just sort that gap out. I'm not going to bother trying to glass it up, it's just too awkward. So I'll sand out the ends and filler it with some bonding paste. It's only a thin amount, so I don't think it's going to cause me a problem in the future with it breaking out. It's only a locker, it's not like you're going to be standing on it. Yeah, I can't see any holes in that, so I think we're good to glass straight over. I don't think I need to put any filler in it. The bottom bit, however, I do. There's a little couple of pinholes. I've got a couple of little voids in the glass under here that I hollowed out. They need to be done still. But I've left that because that's a whole nother job under there. But no, we are good to go. These holes are filled, so that's all been sanded back into, so that's all smooth and flush. There are no voids there. That's it. Right, let's knock up some glass ready to go and then mix up some filler. Right, we've got some glass all cut out now. So I've cut it into small manageable sections and I can overlap it all nicely. That will go around the outside. I've cut some small bits to go on the hinges. I've not gone from the usual wispy bits on those. I've cut them more solid shapes with a little wispy bit to go over the top, just to sort of blend it in afterwards. Hopefully that will just help me concentrate the build up in the area I want it, rather than spreading it out too far. But we'll see. Never underestimate how long it's going to take you to get all your glass cut and prepped and ready to go. You know, don't mix up your resin. Oh yeah, I've just got to cut a little bit of glass. You know, get all your glass cut first. You know, you'll get halfway through and think, oh, I need some more glass. Now you're all sticky, mess everywhere, and you've got to start messing around chopping out more glass. You know, because your resin's going off. No, get it all done first. The resin's all mixed up now. It's all changed colour. I'm just going around the sides again, just scraping the bottom and the sides, making sure that everything is catalysed. I've not got any boo-boos with little areas not having any in. You need a little bit of resin that hasn't catalysed and that won't go off. So there we go, resin's mixed up. One advantage of mixing it up in a plastic tray type tub is the resin's thinner. If you mix it up in your usual cups, it's a lot thicker. That's going to go off faster. That will heat up quicker and go off faster. So if you do mix it up in those, it's sometimes worth having a little tray or something to pour it in. You know, a pot of some sort of that shape. Even a paint roller tray. You know, when it's gone off, you can pop it out. You know, let it cure and pop it out. That'll do it. It ain't got to be perfect, but the more I can keep off of this, the better. It's less work next time when I've got to sand it all again. I don't want this to come out too far. I want to keep it quite local, sort of thing. So the further out I come with the glass, the more sanding and finishing I've got to do afterwards. Now I've had that was all sort of smoothed out and whatnot, so once the resin starts working into it and softening it, you can get it to conform to the shape. So just get it on, get the resin to soak in to start with. A little bit for the bottom bit there. I don't want to go too far round underneath because I don't want to be getting stuck up sanding the underside of that locker before I have to glass it the next bit. Strange there. So I just want to go just into that bottom corner there. I don't want to go right underneath, so that's perfect. Now I'm not going to glass right out to the edge of the wispies either. I'm just going to leave them there to sand off next time. I just want the contact area on this bit of glass and that bit of glass covering the bonding paste that we filled the joint with and bonded the part in. I don't need to come right out here with the glass, so we'll sand that off, smooth it all out. That looks like it's gone nicely. Concentrate on that corner. I have got my fin roller in case I need it, but I don't think I do, to be honest. There. Beautiful. And there's all the excess resin that hit there, it's run all down there, so that little extra tape was perfect. Some resin up here. I'll mind that I don't pull any of the glass strands where I've just put that bit on. So I'll apply it with a bit of a dabbing motion there rather than dragging it. I don't want to drag that new cloth away. I'm going to rub this on above the area because it's going to run down all over it, and then I can just spread it out to make sure it's covered. There we go. Just going to go from the corner, so I'm going to get a slight overlap there. I like a bit of overlap. That's strength. Not too much, you know. I mean, it's not a bulkhead. It's only a locker, you know. So at this stage I'm just trying to really attach the glass, you know, get it to stick and stay in place and soften it so that it's bending round the edge of there, getting it to shape. It's also working the air out, but that's not my main concentration at the moment. My main concentration is getting it stuck in place to stay where I want it. That's not snotty glass, snotty resin, that's just fiberglass. We're nowhere near going off yet. Again, I'm not going right out to the edge of the wisps, you know, I want to work a bit of cloth in, but it doesn't have to go too far out. This one I probably can. I can probably come up here with that and tie that in. That end one I don't want under there. I'll leave them wispy bits because this bit's finished. I just want to tie it in to this section here. So that's covered. Once I've got that bit on, see, I can go from one end to the other. I can work out the air. And I can always get my fin roller out should I need to, and just work that in properly, or better, whatever you want to, the way you want to look at it. I'm just wiping that excess resin off before it starts running off the end of the brush all down my hand. So this glass has got to bond to the fiberglass part so that it holds the two sections in place, you know. It holds the part to the boat. So I want it on this glass and I want it on that glass. I don't want it just covering the filler. That'll be no good at all. No good to anyone. So I'm just going up to this edge here. These wispy bits I'll sand off later. Any little bits sticking out around these bends will be taken care of with a sander. Not a problem. Get up there, I don't want it hanging down. This has already been glassed in place, fillered and faired and whatnot. So I don't want to come out too far on that. So that's looking pretty darn good to me. Right, last bit. Let's get the overlap sorted. A bit more resin on there. And I'm just dribbling a bit on the back of the cloth before I put it up as well. Yeah, so as long as I've tied in far enough back, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to run some fairing compound over all this, smooth out all the glass lines. I don't want to sand too much of the glass away. So a couple of minutes, that resin's soaking into that glass. It should be all transparent. Not all, the glass should have gone opaque, transparent sort of looking. So you should be able to see right through it. It shouldn't be white anymore. What I'm not seeing now is any sort of air void showing up where that resin is, like I had on the other bit. That didn't go well at all, that first bit back there where I had that little void and I had to grind it all out. I'm going to brush these drips off because well, yeah, just because I can. I don't want them all dry down, got to be more to sand next time. Resin gone in there, I don't want a huge build up dripping in there. Okay, right, before this starts going off, let's get some build up on here. We'll see how much I can build up on there. I've cut all my glass, but it might be too much to put on in one go. I might have to put a couple of bits on, let it set, and then come back to it and build it up gradually. I'll cut a few bits so I can see how she goes, but now this is that 2 layers of glass together. What's happened, but I've just got it up there and it's separated. I'll wet it out down here, let it soften a little bit and then try and put it up and see what happens that way. What I know it will do is as I squash it on, it will spread out and get thinner, so the thickness that I initially had will sort of disappear. Right, hopefully that will now bend into place. this is the problem with it, is you stick it on and it looks great. And you leave it to dry and you come back and it's peeled off. So, got to be a bit careful as to how I layer it up. So if I have to come back and put another layer on or so, that's fine. But if I can get an initial build up, that will help me out anyway. So I need it on this front edge, and what you end up with is too much on the bottom or too much on the front. It's very hard to get it to build up just where I want it. The only way to do it is to sort of build it up too much at the front and the bottom to get that lip out, and then sand it away, the top and bottom, to get rid of it. I still think I need more on that front edge. But yeah, it's very awkward. I can't put the glass straight on like that. It just won't bend round that corner. This, I think, is how I've got to do it. I've got to soften it first. There's only so much I'm doing, then I'll start getting in a right sticky mess. So as you know, I don't need this build up on the front, yeah, or underneath. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to end up with too much on the front, too much underneath, and it'll have to be sanded off. But that's the only way I can get the thickness at the point that I want it. A couple of little wispy bits sticking out there. I've just attached them, just push them in with the, so that they're not hanging down. The extra weight hanging down on the glass can pull it off. Just make sure it's positioned where I want it before I leave it. Hopefully it's not full of voids when I come to sand it off next time. I don't want too much underneath, because I can get the power sander on the front, that's not a problem. I can't get it underneath, so if I've got her ear on one side or the other, I'd rather the bulk of it be on the top. I think what I'm going to have to do is sand that off and then rebuild a little bit more. We'll see. Now I'm starting to stick to the glass, so So you're trying to tap the air out and squash it to shape, and it's just literally wiggling it around all over the place. It's just moving it initially. It's basically sort of keep gently working it, and eventually it will usually go, but and then you sort of position it in place before it sets. I did with that side anyway. Let's hope this one will go the same. Getting that glass soft enough to bend round the end and the edge before you put it on. Otherwise you tap the bottom in, the top sticks out. You tap the top in, the bottom sticks out. And you've got to keep working it. And like I say, just make sure it's positioned where you want it before you leave it to set. So I absolutely know that I'm going to have a lot of sanding to do. I'm going to have to remove most of this, but that's just the way it is. And I might even have to remove most of it and then build it up again. I'll remove some of it and build it up. We'll see. Depends what it looks like next time I come down. And how well it sticks where I want it to stay. So now I've got it built up, I can position it where the biggest lump of stuff is. So that next time I can just remove what I don't want. If I can get it close enough, I can always finish it with a little dob of the filler. Now I'll be using the bonding paste, not just a soft filler. Pretty good. I've got quite a build up there. Really hard to get it just where I want it and stay there, yeah. I've got quite a build up underneath, but I'm thinking, well, as I grind that back, that should be enough to leave that sitting flat, which is what we're after. What I've got to be careful is that I haven't got any layers that are separating, so that when I start sanding into it, I've got air voids behind. I'd rather put a bit too much on, to be honest. I can always come back to it and sand it off. Now, too much means an excess of sanding, but not enough means I've got to sand it, then do it again, then sand it. So I've got to do the job twice. If I can do it and shape it in one, that makes my life easier. I just think this one looks like it's a little bit shy. Just going to wrap a little bit over the top. Make sure she's in position. tap it down. Looks a bit better. Right, that's those done. All I've got to do now is finish these. So that end one's done. All I've got to do is these two hinge points here. I did cut all this out first, and I think what I've done is I've used a couple of extra bits on that first locker. Because it didn't basically look like I had enough, so I robbed some of the ones that I had cut for this side for that side. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. I'll stick on what I've got for this side. And that'll do me. I don't even think I'm going to have time to do any sanding. It's 9 o'clock already. These layers that I've got cut out, sandwiched together. What I'm doing is I'm just working these together so I can stick them on. So I'm basically trying to get them to soften up before I put them on. With enough resin, which I'm running out of, time and resin. Let's see if we can get those on in place. So the problem when you get multiple layers is they all start shifting around. So although I don't want that build up on the front, it's quite easy to sand off. I just need to build up here, so I'll sand that away, it's not a problem. Leaving the bit that I want. That's the plan anyway, hopefully. Just getting it to initially stick in place around the bend. You push the bottom in, the top pops out, you push the top in, the bottom pops out. You've got to keep working it until the glass starts to bend and conform around the bend that you're doing. You know, the glass wants to sit flat. You know, you're trying to do something it doesn't want to do initially. This one's like a bit of banana. It's slip sliding away. Darth Vader's moved in again. There we go. Right, it's starting to stick now. So we've got plenty of resin on there. It's nice and wetted out. That looks good. Trying to create a flat area for the hinge to sit on, so I'll sand that front down until I get it flat, and then I can remove the excess from underneath that I don't need. It's one of the horrible things about daubing resin upside down is it runs down the brush handle into your fingies, so just keep it wiped off every now and then. Just to go left a wee bit. I see the holes there, so Make sure it's in the right place. Looks like it's built up too much to the right. Well, we've got enough resin on there anyway, so that's good. And it's gone for the thickness quite clear, you know, it's quite see-through. So I'm happy that we've got that right, and I don't think we've got any air in there. So hopefully it's just as to whether we've got enough build-up. This one I think might want a little bit more in the corner. In the corner, it's not really a corner, but you know what I mean. But I think I'm about done for the day. Alright, so resin's, it's not gone, but I think we are starting to, yeah, we've got some jelly there. I think there's a little bit of jelly in there, so yeah, that's gone. So there's a little bit of resin that's still good. There was some there that had some strands in, but it is definitely starting to cooch now. That's gone. That's got jelly in there, so that resin's done for. That's had it. So I'm going to stop that there. I'll say there is still a little bit of that resin in the pot that hasn't gone. Well, I don't need any more. I could put a tiny little bit more glass on there, but what I'm in danger of doing is my resin's going off. I try to stick another bit on, mess up the bit that's on there, don't get the new bit stuck down, and everything I've just put on there is wasted. So the bits underneath I will take care of when I mix up the next lot of filler and whatnot to do under there, and I'll bond and paste all in them little voids that were in the gel coat. Like I say, that's a job for another day. The hinge point's taken care of there, and the end locker glassed in place around the outside, and the hinges done. There we go. That one is all in. Right, so the only thing left to do now, we've done that, they're all glassed in, they're glassed in, and it's glassed around the outside, is to do the underneath. So now, well, and obviously sand these down, get the lockers to fit. But now they're pretty much done, you know, we're nearly finished, guys, that's it. So this is a bit of sanding, adjust that so the hinges sit right, sand off the excess. Same on that, sand off the excess on those hinge points. Sand down and fair the outside, and that's done. Now we can put some fairing compound right across the two of these and round there. That's why I didn't fair this in originally, because there's no point, because I knew I've got to glass that one, so I didn't do it as well as I did this one. So there you go, we are in. That is all stuck down. Okay, so next time is adjusting hinges, grinding those away until the hinges fit nicely, and that's done. Once I've got them done, I'll need a little bit of fill around that edge, trim off all the glass, fair it all up, make that all good, and the front end of these lockers is all finished. So moving forward now, we are cooking with gas. There we go. Well, I'm pleased now. I've come down, I've done what I wanted to do. We've got that locker done and them hinges done. You know, now it's just a bit of sanding and finishing off and making things fit nice. That could take quite a while, you know, a bit of tweaking and fettling to get the hinges sitting right so that the locker hatch cover fits nicely. But that's just, it is what it is. It's a bit time consuming, fiddly, awkward tweaking and whatnot, just making it look right. But it's not hard, you know, it's just a process that's got to be done. So yeah, so that's next time. But for now, that's me done. I'm going to let that set up. It's moving forward slowly. Won't be long now and I'll have this side completely done. And I can start on making the lockers for the other side and getting that all prepped up and glassed in place and finished off as well. So, here we go. Alright, thank you for watching Life of Dave. I'm going to get myself out of here. I've got to clean up my hands, get rid of all that sticky muck. Yeah, get packed up, get away. Well, like I say, really pleased with what we've done today. it's not the biggest leap forward. If I had more time, you know, I mean, I could just get on with it. That would be fantastic. But it's, you know, it's life. It's just the way it goes. You know, I've got a wife and family at home. I've got stuff to do. I've got house needs sorting out, decorating to do, bits and pieces. You know, there's other things. I can't just be down the boat all the time. Unfortunately, that's what I'd like to do. But nah, seriously. Yeah, I've got a lot to do. I'm always busy. I've got to crack on. So, but we've moved forward with the boat today. You know, I've got done what I wanted. The lockers are in. They're just finishing them, really, just like fairing and messing about and final touches, you know what I mean? So we are getting there. Nearly done. Right, enough waffle. Thank you for watching Life of Dave. Most appreciated. Give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't done already, if it's what you like to see. It is a little bit of everything I do, from boats to RC cars, working on cars, bikes, bits and pieces, whatever I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I do. So if you enjoy it, like and subscribe would be much appreciated, and thank you to all those that already have. Thank you very much. Right, I'll catch you all next time on Life of Dave. Bye for now.